So tell us who you are, how old you are and what you do.
My name is Sydney Isaacs.
Yeah.
I'm 84 and I play tennis.
Tell us how you started playing tennis.
Well, I'd never played tennis in my life until I was 50, and I met this chap. He asked me if I'd like to play a game of tennis with him. I told him that I'd never held a tennis racket in my life. I met him on a Sunday morning at 8:30 at a place called Lambourne End, and he put the racket in my hand and we started to play. I don't think I won a point at all when I first started playing with him, but he stuck at it, and every Sunday morning, come rain, come shine, come ice, come snow, we used to go down to Lambourne End and play. And I used to pray for the day when I'd win a point, which I did eventually. Then my ambition was to win a game. We played together for years, and in the end, it was he who was scratching to get a point. I owe him, actually, for 30 odd years of really enjoyable sport. I enjoy it. It gave me a new lease of life, quite honestly.
So it had a good effect on your life?
Oh, tremendous, tremendous. It sparked me into doing a bit of running as well to improve my fitness. Whenever I went on holiday, I took my racket with me. If I went away in business, I took my racket with me. Apart from the tennis aspect of it, socially it is the most brilliant sport. I've met people wherever I've been, any new countries I go to, I take my racket with, and it's been fantastic.
You mentioned about your Tai Chi. Tell us about that.
Well, I took it up probably about 4 years ago. I saw an advert in a paper for elderly people explaining Tai Chi, and they were going to have a club meeting at Chiggles School. So I went along and joined, and I stuck at it for about 2 or 3 years, found it very enjoyable. People were delightful, but I just didn't feel I was elegant enough. But what I did do, the warming up exercise I found very useful, and before I play tennis I always do their warming up exercise. And most days, even if I'm not playing tennis, I'll find time to do the exercises, because I think at my age the more mobility you can build into your physique, the better it is. What I'm going to tell you now goes back to my childhood. I was at school in Wilton Road and we had a cricket practice. I'd never had any coaching, I'd never held a cricket bat, and the week after the practice the master announced the team that was going to play this other school. And he called out 10 names, and then he called my name out and he said, "He's in for his enthusiasm." And I thought, what is enthusiasm? I was about 6, 7 years old. I honestly had never heard the word before. But many years afterwards, when I learned what the word meant, when I was interviewing people to work for me, it wasn't just their academic qualifications or their technical qualifications. It was whether they had enthusiasm.
So you mentioned, Sid, how you introduced sport into your business when you were running a business.
Oh, absolutely. In my early days, after I came out of the Air Force, I became a trainee manager in the textile business. And eventually I acquired my own factory in Manchester. In those days, I'm talking about in the late 60s then, middle 60s, late 60s, to get people to work for you was very, very difficult. There were 10 jobs for every person available. I decided that what I would do is to try and make people's lives more interesting and mix it with the work. And I organised netball teams, swimming teams, and eventually I used to take teams all over the country. And we were very successful. We used to win a lot of the galas and the tennis tournaments and the netball tournaments and so on and so forth. the effect on morale was fantastic, absolutely fantastic. As I told you, I started to play tennis with my friend at Lambourne End, and then a neighbour of mine said that he joined a tennis club in Chinkford and would I like to become a member. And he was a bit of a prankster, and unbeknown to me, who had been playing tennis for about a year, he told the principals at the club that I was an Australian Davis Cup player, and Avril and Rod Petchey, who are both very, very, very capable tennis players, decided they would play me in. And of course I could hardly hold the racket, and I couldn't see the ball. I mean, they were hitting it at such pace. We still laugh about it 35 years afterwards, but he introduced me as an Australian Davis Cup player.